Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel with my husband.
Hi guys, how are you? So what do you want to talk about here?
For come here in the Cebu because for my medicine from subscriber.
Right. So we were very fortunate. About a week or so ago, I ran into some people that actually invited me out to coffee, and they asked me, "Where's Baby May?" And I said, "Well, she's at home. She's got a migraine." And just so turns out that this couple, his wife also suffers from migraines.
Yes.
And they gave me a picture. In fact, I took a picture of her medication because when she gets sick, she's down for at least 2 or 3 days with a migraine, where the pupil is pushed forward and light sensitive and all that. Anybody that suffers from migraines can relate. And then this woman actually would throw up. She would get in so much pain, and that's fairly common with migraine sufferers also. So what is this all about? So I took a picture of the medicine, and we drove all over Dumaguete to different pharmacies, primarily Mercury and the ones that carry all the stuff. Because other pharmacies out here basically sell hair care products and a few antibiotics, and that's it. And so we came up with a blank, and the subscriber contacted me and said, "Hey man, did you ever have any luck getting that medicine for your wife?" I said, "No." And so, make a long story short, he said, well, they're staying in Cebu, they're on travel mode, they're in vacation mode together. He's going back to America in a few months. He said, we managed to fill the prescription that we have at Rose Pharmacy. Now, we have a Rose Pharmacy.
Yeah.
And when we walked in there and showed them the picture, they said, no stock.
No
we
stock.
don't carry it. It's never really clear. But they had it here in Cebu. And so I said, you know what? Why don't we do a 2-for-1 here? May and I could stand to get out of Dodge for a couple of days. We always like the Quest Hotel where we're staying.
Yeah.
It's right across the street from the Ayala Mall. And there's just some things that we need to do and get done and purchase that it's not as impossible in Dumaguete, but it's limited, I would say. So we came up to here in Cebu, day before yesterday.
Monday.
Yeah, today's Wednesday. And so that evening, because they were actually leaving Cebu to go on another trip, they met us for dinner at the hotel, which was really sweet of them. They have an Airbnb or something to that effect, 10 minutes away. And gave May half or 1 box extra beyond what she had filled her prescription for. And she's not really stressing about it because she's got the script. And so when she runs out, she can just run over and get it filled. So it's kind of one of those adjust, adapt attitudes that you have to take if you're going to try to live out here in the Philippines. And that is, sometimes you have to go to extraordinary measures just to get an ordinary thing like a prescription filled. But there was another agenda that we had. In Dumaguete, it's a small town. And so it's got plenty of restaurants, it's got plenty of shopping. We never go without. But there are those certain things that small towns just don't have that bigger cities do. And so not only did we get the medication, which we're very, very grateful for, and I'm going to leave their names out of it just for their privacy. But I've been needing to buy some clothes for about 2 years now. And every time I go to the store, not every time, but more often than not, when I go to one of the shops to buy clothes, they just don't fit, they're too short, or they're disorganized and whatnot. There is one shop in Robinson's that's different, but it's just not that much variety. So across the street here is H&M, or Ayala Mall, and H&M is a clothing store. It's an American store that I always enjoyed when I lived in America. So we went over there and got like 5 pairs of jeans and slacks, a pair of shorts, a bunch of shirts that you can't find nothing special about them, but more expensive.
Yeah.
Like the shorts I'm wearing, you can't see right now, but they're just a little higher quality, good for safety because they've got zippers on them and all that.
Yeah.
So if you want to put your wallet, your cash, whatever, it's got that extra layer of protection. And I can't find these kind of shorts in sleepy little Dumaguete.
Yes.
So we did that. We kind of experienced, what else?
And after
and
that,
then, we need, as you can tell probably by the audio quality on this, we have been going through audio hell, microphone hell. And I went to Amazon and bought some decent microphones.
yeah.
And they never delivered them to me because, again, here we are in Little Dumaguete. The delivery company, who I had never heard of before, just said they couldn't find our house, even though I gave them specific directions, almost gave them a pinpoint. They just never showed up. And the item got shipped back to Amazon and will one of these days get credited back to my charge card. I miss brick and mortar stuff. And up here, I called a friend of mine, Chad, who has a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He lives up here in Cebu. I said, hey man, is there anywhere that I can go and just walk in and buy a pair of microphones, test them out, try them, see how they work? And he said yes. And he pointed me to one place, and then he said, he wrote me back again, and that would have involved a cab ride. And so then he wrote me back before we made the cab ride and said, listen, if you go into Ayala Mall, there's a place called Henry's Camera.
Yeah.
Try that. He goes, I had never been in there, but my friend went in there and he got what he needed. Well, it just so happens we went in there, and yes, they had microphones. And yes, they were DJI, which are top of the line. And I just literally threw a set of microphones that I just bought over the wall here. And because we tried them out, they're 2 days old, and they just staticky and feedback and picking up all this noise and fuzzy and all that jazz. And you get what you pay for. So I paid about almost $350 for a set of microphones, which we're not using right now.
Yeah.
These are still the old ones. I got to get the new ones home, charge them, read the instructions, and they're a lot more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And again, I felt it was a good investment of $350 because audio is so important in these little videos.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was really thrilled to do that. And on top of that, nobody had an issue taking a credit card. Now, we brought plenty of cash. I knew what we were going to be buying, but it was full out of our budget, and we brought X amount of pesos with us, and it's in a little envelope up in the room if you guys want to steal it. But I said, you know what, I would really just like the convenience of not lugging around a lot of cash and safety concerns and everything else. So was able to tap my credit card in 2 different places, which I have not done in years. I mean, years, almost America time. But 8 years since I've gone into a couple of stores and just put it on my credit card. And it made me kind of think a little bit about how that affects spending and budgets. It was so easy to just go ahead and say yes and throw it on that card, as opposed to experiencing the pain of watching you pull out the 1,000 peso notes and thinking, man, that's a lot of money. You might have second doubts. So I think that's part of the reason that people come out here, or at least, I'll just speak to myself. When I came out here, it's pretty much a cash society. And before I leave the house, I have to put X amount of pesos in my wallet, because unless I go to a really big place, a big store, they don't take credit cards. Where was the last place I tried to use a credit card? It kind of surprised me. They wouldn't take them. Doesn't matter. It was sort of like a Henry's Camera type of place in Dumaguete. Said, do you take credit cards? No, I'll tell you what it was. It was Cebu Pacific. I went into the Cebu Pacific because we were flying out here. And I wanted to see how much their prices were and if they could just hook me up with the flight instead of going through an Agoda app. And they could, but they couldn't take Cebu Pacific. could not take a credit card. And they were more expensive anyway. So when I got home, I booked it through Agoda, who has no problem taking my credit card. Because whenever I fly or make any kind of purchase, say over $100, I like to put it on a credit card. I got a little protection there. And then when the statement comes in, I just pay it off in full. I've never had a balance last more than the time that it's been on there on a credit card.
Yes.
So this was one of those days, this is one of those trips where we were on a mission, and now we're here on our third day and final day. We're leaving today, going back to Dumaguete, but we have the day to ourselves today, so that's nice.
Yes.
We're by the pool,
Yes.
and we're just going to kind of hang out. We were actually able to knock out 3 major missions, which is her medication,
Yes.
the microphone,
Yeah.
and getting me some new clothes
Yes.
that actually fit and were made sense in the store. And it was pricey again, but I buy clothes maybe every 2 years and then just wear them out, where she buys something every day, going into okay, and she's paying $1 or $2 and perfectly happy with it. I can't shop okay clothes from it. It's nasty, it's funky.
So hard to find the size.
Yeah, size is impossible. And going into stores here, here's I'll fire a warning shot for anybody watching this video that's thinking about coming to the Philippines. If you're a large-sized person, and by large, I'm going to say if your waist is above a 34-inch waist, or you're just big, bring a bunch of clothes.
Yeah.
Because you aren't going to find big sizes out here unless you go on a real hunting expedition. So that's kind of the update. That's kind of what we're doing.
Yes.
We spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Spent about $1,000 for this trip.
Yes.
Just to get medication, and that includes the clothes and that includes the microphones.
Yes.
But can't remember the last time we spent $1,000, if ever, on ourselves. It's always been save. And we've done a good job of that. And so, again, this wasn't like one of those willy-nilly, let's go to the Bahamas and drink, pina coladas by the pool. We had designated tasks that we wanted to take care of that we couldn't have. So I don't know if that's interpreted as a good thing or a bad thing, but we had to fly to Cebu just to get her some medicine.
Yeah.
Not everybody may be able to fly to Cebu just to have that. And we were also very blessed and fortunate to have made friends with those folks. I mean, they were super sweet.
Very nice.
We sat and talked to them for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Monday night when we arrived, and just awesome people.
Yes.
They're off on their travels, and they have a very interesting story that I think I'd like to share sometime. I don't know if they would come on the channel, but maybe he could tell it to me, and then I could just recite it back to you. She's going through an annulment, put it to you that way. Okay, so, and yet they're already married, so that will kind of give you a little teaser as to the challenges that they're facing here with the paperwork and all that happy stuff here in the Philippines. So, May, what do you think? You happy with the results?
Yeah, I'm so happy that,
Yeah, and today we're just going to chill out and relax.
Yes.
And that's that.
Yes.
That's our video.
Yes.
It's for me.
Yes, and you and me just been in the, what I call that, social.
The social, yeah.
Yes.
That's over at Ayala
The
Mall.
people told me it's very famous, that restaurant.
Well, it's not so famous, but it's a lot of expats that are in Cebu all know about the social. That's kind of a place for meeting and greeting for foreigners. It's one of those spots that foreigners will go to and kind of drink and all that good stuff. So it's just one of those centralized places. It's not unlike what Ground Zero used to be. It's no longer a hot spot in Dumaguete. Ground Zero just sort of fizzled out.
Yeah.
But back in the day, Ground Zero was where everybody would go. And if they were new in town or old in town, they just, the food, the drink, the coffee, was all cool. And it's since changed. The whole dynamic there has changed. But it's just sort of a place that everybody that's been in town at all knows about. So
I see.
including the women that are living here in Cebu. They're hunting down a foreigner.
Yeah, I'm so laughing yesterday because we have the lady walking in the front. The eyes is my God. I'm so laughing that.
Yeah.
Can you explain the default about that?
Well, there was a lady, and she was, I don't know, wearing a white dress.
Yes.
And I was sitting here, and May
Yes.
was sitting across from me. And not uncommon in Cebu. She came by, and she gave me the eye, and turned and looked, and
Yeah.
smiled. And you can't see it because of my sunglasses, but raised her eyebrows. Actually started walking towards me. And then she spotted May and went, ah. She thought, oh, fresh meat. You know, I've never seen this one before. So,
So funny.
yeah, it's just life in the Philippines. So,
I
right?
see. So you mean is, for example, if I'm foreigner,
Mhm.
it's so easy to find the Filipina here in Cebu?
Well, a certain type of Filipino. You know, there's degrees of people, period. So, sure. Depends on where you're sitting, I suppose.
So that is, guys, for the video today for about her in Cebu.
Yeah, that's our little trip to Cebu.
Yes. Thank you so much, Daddy Paul, for
Alright.
always help me. And guys, see you next video. Bye-bye.
See you guys.